Hey everybody, Sharon Tinsley here with the Alabama Broadcasters Association. Hope you're doing great today. I am so excited to have a conversation with my great friend Tom Hanrahan. Tom, for those of you who don't know him, is a 37, 38-year veteran of the radio industry at numerous companies over that uh, impressive career that you've enjoyed, Tom. And so lately, you've seen some change in your world and you are launching a tremendous new, I like to say adventure, not adventure, an adventure. So tell us about what you're doing these days.
Yeah, and you're right. It is an adventure. Going into business for yourself is a little bit different. But thank you for the time, Sharon, to talk about Coached Up. I have, enjoyed such a wonderful career in the state of Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and some other states over the last almost 4 decades, and met many of you at, ABA functions along the way, the Abby Awards, and the tremendous work that Sharon and her staff does to promote broadcasters, and not only promote but support broadcasters in the state of Alabama. The entire staff at the ABA does a great job. So thank you for the time this morning. My adventure is called Coached Up. And you can check me out. RadioTalentCoaching.com is the website, RadioTalentCoaching.com. Coached Up is an adventure that honestly started for me about 25 years ago. As my career was advancing with a long career with iHeartRadio and iHeartMedia, over the decades, I found myself drifting into talent coaching more often than not. And it became my passion. And so I know it's a really niche area, but Coached Up is about coaching radio talent consistently because here's what I can promise you. As a programmer, as an owner operator, as whatever insert title, you're spread thin. And a lot of the things are the most important tasks on the radio station that we should be doing on a daily basis get pushed to the bottom of the list because we have so many other things that we're trying to cover because we're doing 800 people's jobs, right? So I understand that frustration. But what I've decided to do with Coached Up is to come alongside you and be that support mechanism. When you can't get to coaching your talent consistently, let me do it for you. Coached Up is really a dream of mine because the greatest passion, other than being on the air for me in broadcasting, has always been working around other great talent and trying to find the best ways to bring out the best in them. And so over the last 25 years in talent coaching, I've worked with shows in Chicago, in Houston, in Phoenix, in Albuquerque, Birmingham, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, Panama City, Tallahassee, pretty much every size market. And what I've decided to do is to take those decades of experience of coaching talent and put it to work for you. RadioTalentCoaching.com. I'd love to come alongside you. And when you run out of time coaching your talent, morning show, afternoon show, night show, it doesn't matter. Let me come alongside you and do some of that work for you.
What does that look like, Tom? Are you going to go visit people at their stations? Will you do some consulting over Zoom meetings like this? What do you have in mind?
I think a little of both. Prior to COVID, it would have been, coming physically to a radio station. And by the way, that would be my first preference. I like to work in physical space with people. I love nothing more than being in a conference room, a radio control room, and just the feel, the smell, the vibe of a radio station is exciting for me. And so I'll come to your market. I'll drive to your market. If it's too far away, we can do a Zoom call. We can do a Teams call. We learned in COVID, one of the things, many things that we all learned is that you can do business electronically like this. And even in coaching in the last, couple of years, if I couldn't get to a market because of time constraints, we simply would jump on a call like this. But it's probably a combination of both to answer your question.
How should somebody prepare for a coaching session? Do they need to send you reels, demos, or what do you want in order to be prepared for that conversation from your end?
Great question. RadioTalentCoaching.com is the website, RadioTalentCoaching.com. Really, all I need from you is just where you are, your call letters, name of your show, and that's it. Two different ways I can coach your show, or I've done it in advance, is I'll either come to the market the night before and literally to do it in real time, which I like to do because I like to get a real sense of what's going on in the market around the morning show or afternoon show. And another way is that we can just scope a show electronically, just record it in advance. So you don't really have to do anything. You don't have to worry about hey, I've got to get a bunch of audio together and download these MP3s and somehow fit all this into an email, and I hope it sends and send it to me, you can simply go to my website, radiotalentcoaching.com, fill out the information form, and that's all you need to do.
I looked at your website this morning and it looks fantastic. It's very user friendly. I saw the form, so I encourage people to jump on there and read more about Tom. I mean, you've got some bio on there, and for the people outside of Alabama who don't know you, I encourage them to do that. So, can I put you on the spot and ask you to give the people watching and listening a little bit of free advice? What's one
Yeah,
piece of free coaching advice you might
yeah,
offer up?
absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, what do you think is the most important thing somebody could do today to improve their on-air performance?
Great question. A lot of things come to mind. I think probably the first thing, the thing I coach talent on the most right out of the gate is being authentic, being real and authentic. Look, many times, and look, I've done it myself, being an on-air talent, and I think that's one of the things that makes me unique in this space is that when I'm giving advice to talent, to morning shows, afternoon shows, or whatnot, I've been there. I'm not just what I never want to do is be the guy that or the gal that comes to the market with a suitcase of ideas, and then I leave and people go, "Who is that? What was that about?" I've lived that, and I know what that's like. Where you have a drop in, a helicopter in person that just comes in, gives you a bunch of advice, and then leaves, and you go, "Well, I don't even know that person's background. I don't even know their point of view. I don't even know if they're credible."
Right.
Um, and so what one thing that I think makes me unique in that space, in this space, is that I've been an on-air talent. I am an on-air talent. I know what it's like to be in the grind every day of doing shows. So when I'm coaching people and telling them to be real and authentic, I know the reason why. And the biggest reason why is that most of us in this business put on an act to be on the air because we think, well, we just have to be somebody that we're not. Well, it's true. It's better to listen to someone, and it's more compelling to listen to someone on the radio that's excited, uplifting, positive, and is not boring. That's true. But all of those things doesn't mean you have to be fake. And what I'm always trying to encourage talent to do is look, be yourself, be authentic. If your day got off to a bad start, let your listeners know that. If your days got off to a great start, let your listeners know that. If you're really worried about something going on with your kids this afternoon when you pick them up because you can't figure out what to do with your 14-year-old daughter who has a problem and you don't know how to help her through it, then talk about it on the air. I promise you, all of these things that you're going through, your listeners are going through or have gone through. And what I love about radio is that people are always quick to offer advice, right? And so people want to tell you, hey, you know what? I went through that with my daughter, and let me tell you what works every time. Or hey, guess what? Give her some space. She doesn't need you harping on her right now. So you get all those different points of view, and you only get that if you're real and authentic with your audience. If you're vulnerable with them and open yourself up to them, they will open themselves up to you. And by the way, they'll connect with you, relate with you, and stay with you much longer if you prove that you're real and authentic.
Well, I assume that through that process, people feel like they get to know you and that you're not just a voice on the other end of that signal. So I appreciate that. I think that's great advice, Tom. Thank you. So
Well,
one
yeah,
more
because
time. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
well, I mean, I was just going to finish that by saying, the greatest thing radio has over DSPs, digital service, platforms, is that we're America's companion. We've always been your friend. We've always been there in the good times and the bad times. And great radio talent can connect, or I should say, great radio talent connect with people when they are real and authentic and they are that friend, that one to one relationship you're talking about. I mean, look, we've all heard people on the air that sound fantastic. They've got a great voice, and man, they sound wonderful on the air. I've also heard some very average sounding talent on the air who connect deeper than the big sounding radio talent. And at the end of the day, the connectivity to listeners is far more important than how great you sound.
That probably comes as a surprise to younger people wanting to get into this business. They probably think it's all about the voice.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
all about the way that, yeah, you're exactly right. That it's all about the way I sound, the way my social media looks. Well, look, social media is important, and I think that's good branding for you and the radio station you represent. But the truth is, if you look to the research, people like to view people on social media that look real. they don't want portrait pictures. They don't want perfect pictures and makeup being perfect and two radio hosts standing side by side with this cheesy smile on their face. They would actually just like to see you for who you are in your real environment.
I think that's fantastic advice. Okay, one more time, Tom, before we go, what's your website?
Yeah, radiotalentcoaching.com, radiotalentcoaching.com. And just fill out the information form. I'd be glad to listen to your talent, to give you some advice anytime. Radiotalentcoaching.com.
All right, that sounds fantastic. Thanks for being with us today and good luck.
Thank you, Sharon.